Cool. All right. Well, like I said, I'll record this and I can send it to Alexa so she can get all caught up. How's everybody doing?
Good.
You all?
Great, how are
Busy
you?
classes.
Yep, same.
Yeah, it's one of those weeks.
Same here.
Just like, so, well, good deal. So in the interest of time, we'll go ahead and jump right into it. So did everybody have a chance to look over the agenda for the retreat itself?
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, perfect. I figure first talking about logistics. So right now everything's scheduled to start at 8:30. I did confirm that time with for all of our morning stuff. So you can be here by a little before 8:30. That would be great. Is that going to be a problem for anybody?
Nope.
Good deal. So if you scroll down to, or at least I know not all of you are on your computer or otherwise at near the agendas and stuff, as I say. But if you scroll down to the bottom of the agenda, I put a parking map in there. So if you want to park in the parking garage, it's going to be a $5 pass, and I'd be more than happy to grab one of those for you. And unfortunately, though, I can't get SGA to cover it. But like I said, though, $5 pass, not too bad. Or you can park on the other side of it's a football field, but it's not the main one. It's our old memorial field. So you can kind of see that picture there. That's free parking all day. I put a map in there. If you park there, just walk across. It'll take you, 4 or 5 minutes to get to the Union, but save $5. If anybody wants a pass, let me know, though, because I need to order those before next week.
Okay. Thank you.
Perfect. So just let me know. Like I said, I assume most people just elect to park over in the free lot. So, good deal. So, other things is as far as costs are concerned, the only cost you'll have cost of gas and lunch. And I talked to Katie DeMars today, or I left her a message today asking if KBOR could cover the cost of gas. And she hasn't gotten back to me, but I assume that they would be able to. Emily, do you have any insight on that, like as of last year, what they did?
Last year, we all got reimbursed by our own university. So Fort Hays reimbursed me for my gas.
Gotcha.
Like our SGA did.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Because it's not like an official KBOR event.
That makes sense. Yeah, so I went ahead and left her a message. So I'll let you know if you hear back from her. But I would default to no. KBOR would not be able to fund it then. So either get the reimbursement from your university or it'd be at out-of-pocket cost, which hopefully is not the case. And then as far as lunch is concerned, that'll be on your own as well. But it's cheap. You can get out of there for $7 or $8 in Aggieville. So that'll be a fun little cultural experience for everybody. The other thing I was going to say is, other than that, those who are staying in Manhattan, the hotel room is paid for. So if you're staying in Manhattan, that'll be just fine. And if you are not staying in Manhattan, that'll be, you don't have any other expenses because the tickets and dinner are paid for. So I'm going to try to do a little coffee beforehand, but it won't be anything extravagant. So you might want to grab a bite to eat on the way here. Any logistical questions?
Nope. Thank you.
I was saying, I don't have to wait for an answer every time either. I just thought I'd ask. So let's go over the agenda then. I'm going to turn to that if you have it on you. So obviously around 8:30 we'll get started. Like I said, hopefully to have coffee there so we can do some of that. Do a little welcome and orientation for the day. I should mention that one other thing. This will be held in the conference room of the union. So it's called the Center for Student Involvement. It's on the first floor of the union. So if you walk in from the parking lot I was telling you about farther away, you'll get there on the ground floor. You have to take the stairs up, but it's right there in the center of the of that first floor, off to the side. So anyway, so 8:30 welcome. 8:45 to 9:15 do introductions, but then the majority of it's going to be campus platform updates. So Emily and I chatted last week about how these campus platform updates went last year. And I think in order to maximize our time and to maximize the discussions that we're having here on our campus platform updates, I'd ask everybody to come with it'll only be 4 to 5 minutes of material, since we have 7 of us, and so I have 30 minutes planned for it, but I think that I'm going to bump that up because I will not take 45 minutes to welcome everybody. For everybody else's sake, at least for that, I can be pretty long-winded, but I'll try to at least try to bring it together for that one. So how does everybody feel about preparing like a couple of PowerPoint slides to help them with that? You think that'd be something that'd be beneficial?
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, same here. Yep, same.
All right, good deal. So if you want to just have those, send those to me. Honestly, it can be by like Friday, like the Friday before the event. Like I don't need those any time way ahead of time, but I would appreciate if you'd send them to me beforehand so I can put them all into one slideshow. And then, like I said, 4 to 5 minutes material, I figure, and then we'll have a little bit of time for questions after each one. I know that in May, we had or maybe it was the April meeting. I know a lot of us were there and we had a good chat about our platforms and such. So I don't want to have like a total repeat of that, but I think that, whatever everybody has not heard about. So if it's a platform, that's great. I'll probably talk a lot about what happened on campus this summer and stuff like that. And it can just be kind of a little bit of everything. All right. And then, so like I said, that'll just, I think, be a good place to touch base on all that. After that, we'll hear from our Dean of Students and Vice President for Student Life, Pat Bosco. Some of you might have met him before. We'll kind of talk about challenges for today's higher ed students. He's a great speaker. I thought it'd be someone that's good to hear from. So it'll be good to hear from him. And he, I think, is a good resource, particularly with talking about cost of attendance. So after that, and I know I got a couple questions about this. I think Maddie and I talked briefly. Maddie, since you weren't there in June. However, it's this the Task Force for Diversity and Inclusion. So I wanted to, I know everybody else has kind of heard this before, but Maddie, I want to give a little bit of context here. So this is an idea that was brought to me by a friend of mine who's in SGA at K-State. He's a member of the Black Student Union. And we had kind of talked about just how at each university, every university struggles with diversity and inclusion, I think, across the country. But in Kansas, it seems like there's have just been, recently challenges at all the Regent universities. And we think that maybe there could be some collaboration when it comes to like solving some of those challenges. So, I think the blessing and the curse about this task force idea is that, it's completely from scratch and that we don't have a ton to discuss with this, but I wanted to give a little bit of context for what I was thinking. And then I'm hoping that you can bring your thoughts and bring some ideas about this. And we can discuss what that task force would look like. And we can discuss like what the issues are specifically that we want that to address. So I was thinking, also, I apologize for hogging this conversation. If you have thoughts, please speak up. But as I was thinking, this could be a representative from each campus that is not the student body president. So the only reason that, I kind of had thought that is because I think it's good to have an external voice, like bring somebody else into the conversation, particularly students who are involved in multicultural affairs, such as members of each institution's Black Student Union, Hispanic American Leadership Organization, part of your multicultural student organizations. I think that a representative there, or it could be also a member of your cabinet, I think is who I was thinking of. Like I said, all this can be discussed in further detail, but that's kind of what I was thinking when we originally talked. And then I was thinking that throughout the year, part of the discussion, one, can be discussing challenges on each campus and discussing solutions or otherwise responses to those challenges. But then I thought that a third component of this task force could be providing some continuity. So it's not like a one-year thing, right? So what do we want this to look like from year to year? A question that came up the other day when I was talking to Ryan Kelly is this guy's name, about this is, so, obviously we have the Student Advisory Committee, we have the Council of Presidents, the Committee of Academic Officers and Board Directors, and so, and I was wondering what, if you knew of a meeting that was the chief diversity officers of each institution. Do you know if they get together at the Regents meetings?
Just from our end, I don't believe so. That would be like our vice provost of diversity and equity, correct?
Correct.
Right. No, she doesn't go to KBOR meetings, but I know that she has some kind of dialogue and obviously like speaks with other people in the same position.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Because I had thought the same thing as far as K-State. We have a vice provost for diversity, which we're soon hiring a chief diversity inclusion officer here. And I had not seen much of a presence at Board of Regents meetings. And, maybe that's something the committee can look into, because, I think right now, obviously, it's part of Student Advisory Committee, but, perhaps there's some, through time they can discuss this maybe needs to be something that involves more than just students at the universities and have some continual type of dialogue. So, like I said, though, that is something that is a rough idea at this point, and it's something that I had kind of wanted to discuss in further detail. I know I started to talk about it, but I'm thinking that if you can come to the meeting or the retreat with some thoughts based off of that little introduction, what you might think this could look like, and then as well, if you want to also come with somebody in mind, I think could be helpful. Are there any yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. I just wanted to hop in and say I think that this is a great idea, Jack, in terms of like who I can already like picture, someone from KU student body who would be a great fit for this. And I think that it does kind of show a more meaningful commitment to this from a multiple, from like a state level. Because I know that we all always want to like talk about this, and I know that it's great for us to share. But having a more formalized thing, I think, is a great idea.
Oh, that's exactly what I was thinking. I appreciate that good feedback. That's, I think that's part of the challenge, right? Is that that when either issues arise or when we're trying to, we're looking at things of just ways to improve in a vacuum. It's like you got to think that maybe there are other institutions that are doing things, differently than I'm thinking personally. Like, what do other schools, K-State do? And this kind of came up actually this summer. We were trying to decide, like, we were restructuring opposite diversity campus. And there's a lot of questions like, well, what do the other Regent institutions do? What does K-State do? Or excuse me, what does KU do? What does Emporia State do? And I couldn't answer that question. And I was like, you know what? That is kind of maybe a signal that, maybe, like to Maddie's point, that a more solidified kind of continuous thing can be really helpful with that. So, any other kind of comments on that now?
Yeah, Jack, this is Megan, by the way. I just really want to reiterate what Maddie said. I think this is a great initiative, and I really look forward to seeing where this can go in the future.
Awesome. Thank you, Megan.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'll prepare some notes. And the other thing is, I thought it might be helpful since, like I said, since I've been working with one student in particular, if Ryan could come to that section of the retreat. That's like a good idea to everybody. I know it's, like I said, I don't want this to be a K-State overload, right? Like where I've got, the dean of students and stuff, but I figure that since Ryan and I have been working on this, I thought it might be nice to have him come and can be part of our conversation. Is that cool with everybody?
That'd be great.
That's great.
Sounds good.
Sounds good to me.
Good deal. All right, we are trucking right along then. Let's see what else we have. Okay. So going down the agenda, I've asked Regent Mullen to come and speak. Even like I said, just pretty brief, 15 minutes just to talk about just honestly, I think he's a really good Regent to kind of talk to you just about like the student experience and whatnot, as well as he can speak, of course, to what's going on this coming year with the board. And then I invited Breeze to speak on like board initiatives, and then also last year she spoke about effective communication. However, I got an email yesterday from Dr. Rediker at the Board of Regents who said that, I think she said Breeze is no longer serving as the communications director. So I had not heard that. But I wonder, I'm trying to pull up the email real quick, sorry.
Wait, sorry, Jack. Did you say that Breeze is no longer at the Kansas Board of Regents?
He's at KBOR. So the email says, this is from Gene Rediker, says, as SAC's liaison to the board, Carla was on vacation. Breeze wanted to, she just said Carla was on vacation, so Breeze wanted to say something. She says, I understand from Carla that Breeze is scheduled to present at SAC's retreat. However, Breeze is no longer serving in the Director of Communications role at KBOR. Carla is happy to provide guidance on how to best cover topics Breeze would have addressed, and she'll talk to you when she gets back to the office tomorrow, Thursday.
Interesting.
Yeah. I also understand SAC would like Regent Mullen to address the group. Breeze reached out. He indicated he'd be available to attend the retreat, and then she just asked me to. So
Even when you go to the KBOR website and you go to like staff directory, I'm on it right now. Breeze isn't even listed anywhere.
So has anybody? So I had not heard about this like at all. Did anybody else know this was like a change that was happening?
I hadn't heard it.
Nope.
That's interesting. So a couple options. I might see one who they are kind of have as a tentative replacement, and maybe that person could come speak. The other thing is, perhaps Carla could do it, but one way or another, I think we'll be able to cover the base there. But I just want to let you all know of that about Breeze, because that kind of caught me off guard. I didn't expect that was happening. So anyway, so that's too bad.
Weird, because I feel like Breeze is also pretty often our kind of like communications point person and like liaison.
Yeah, I kind of thought that Breeze would be the one to like just talk about changes to staffing, like. So and maybe that's so there have been a couple emails like that I copied Breeze and stuff on, and like I've gotten some like response that had wording like, keep in mind Carla is your point of contact, Carla is your point of contact, Carla is your point of contact. So regardless, Carla is definitely on board, and I'll give Carla a call tomorrow when she gets back, and we'll talk about that some more. But because what I had imagined happening is that Regent Mullen got there at 10:45, then Breeze spoke, and then we all went out to lunch, and Carla met us at lunch. So it'd be like Breeze, Dennis Mullen, and then Carla all at lunch together. But now I think that the only thing that changes there is it might not be Breeze. It could be just Carla, or it could be somebody else. But regardless, they will go to lunch with us. And Carla said, just kind of some informal communication over lunch could be something that could be really enjoyable and informational at the same time. And then, like I said, lunch will be in Aggieville, which is pretty close by. We can either walk or I've got a car that seats 8. We can take pretty much everybody. Actually, I can take everybody with me. So we can do that. And then, like I said, lunch will be on your own cost-wise. And then we get back from lunch. Carla wants to speak. In more like a formal setting. And I'm going to talk, like I said, I'll talk to her tomorrow, because some of this could change with kind of Breeze not being there. If Carla maybe plays a bigger role in the retreat than what we had originally thought of. But either way, that'll kind of be our time for KBOR specific stuff. And then after that, we'll go into kind of the part of the day about our about higher ed day and then our breakout sessions. So I am invited James Krutz. He's the LD at K-State to come speak. And like I said, I know I want to reiterate what I said before. I don't want to make this the K-State show where there's a bunch of, it's all, just like campus folks through and through. However, the reason why I invited James is because James is a grad student this year, and his big research initiative is on the effectiveness of student lobbying. So a lot of his research has been, and it's specific to Kansas. So he's gone and interviewed and surveyed the Kansas legislature and asked for data, like trying to figure out the specifics of how effective student lobbyists are. Are they more effective than like a higher ed? Like how effective are students at lobbying? Sorry, are they more effective than like your government relations directors? Like for the university, and like what type of things, like how often is your vote changed, stuff like that. Really interesting. I think you guys will like that presentation, and that'll jump us into our higher ed day overview and goal setting. I've asked Sue Peterson, K-State's government relations director for the university, to come and be a part of that discussion as well. I think that'll be a good place where we can talk about some priorities and obviously some logistics with that. So real quickly though, I know I asked in the group me, but who all is bringing their LD with them?
Fort Hayes is.
Pitt State might be pending.
ESU is.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
So for KU, I don't think I'll be bringing Eric just because I don't want him to, have to drive back by himself. So.
Yeah, and I apologize about that. Like that logistically, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to make that work. So.
No worries.
But no,
On that note, is anyone bringing their VPs?
I'm not.
No.
No.
Nope.
Yeah, mine will be there for part of the day.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't have. So for the record, though, I don't have anything planned for a VP. So
Okay.
that would be fine to. Yeah. But if you do want to bring LDs, I think that'd be helpful. Obviously, James will be there. And it sounds like Emily. What's your LD's name again?
Kaylani.
Gotcha. So I think that would be a good discussion then, and to have the LDs present for that, for the higher day overview. And we talk about goal setting for that. And like I said, Sue can help guide that. I need to meet with her beforehand to kind of go over some of these things. But she was excited that she was going to be part of it. So, and then after that, I think we'll move into our breakout sessions, which could be a pretty small group of LDs. But like I said, I still think that's very worthwhile and could be very helpful when it comes to planning all that higher ed day, state higher ed day, and talking about other legislative initiatives. And then breakout sessions for all of us will be goals and visions for the year. So trying to think of what as we look at like our setting our goals and visions as a committee. I think it'd be really helpful if you could bring to the retreat kind of some ideas of what you would like to see happen this year, things you want us to discuss, things you want us to do, things you want SAC to be this year. I think could be really helpful. So having some ideas there would be really what I think would be good. And I'll send out an email here tomorrow or Friday with like a little recap of everything you need to bring. But as far as that's concerned, just some information there. Any questions? That's the end of the work agenda. Are there any questions on any of that stuff before I get into the details for after the fact? Good deal. All right. So, and obviously text me if you have any questions. I can be glad to answer any of those. So after, we'll get done about 3. That time's super flexible. So if our conversation's going well and it takes, an hour, we have a little more time built in there. So that'll be just fine. So afterwards, we'll take a quick break. And folks who are staying at the hotel, which are Paige and Cassandra, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And obviously, I have one hotel room just based off of what I've heard from people, but I can see if I get another one. Might be a little difficult, but it sounds like that there are not going to be any more than 4 people staying here. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Mhm.
Good deal. So I think what the plan is then, go check in the hotel, and then we'll take a little bit of a break before heading to the stadium. So a couple things about that is, first of all, since we are going to sit in the university lounge, which is like our suite, I'd ask you to wear business casual. So you don't have to wear it all day if you don't want to. You can change into it before the game. But it doesn't have to be anything crazy, but I'd probably avoid jeans, just dress up a little bit since we are sitting up there. And there'll be a lot of alumni and different folks up there. Does that work for everybody?
Mhm.
Yep.
Good deal.
Yeah.
So then we'll head over to the stadium. I have 2 parking passes there right now in case folks who are leaving directly from the stadium. Honestly, it is organized chaos leaving the stadium after a game if you're driving, because of all the people that are you have to go certain directions out of the stadium, which makes it very difficult, I think, to leave town sometimes if you are trying to swim upstream. So it might be worthwhile to take a second car to the stadium there. I'll head back to the parking lot where everybody's parked afterwards, and I can drive people to the hotel. If that would work as well. Like I said, I can fit 8 in my car. But we'll get there hoping around 3:30 or so. The gates open 2 hours before the game, so should open about 4 o'clock. So we'll do a little walking tour over there, nothing crazy, and then gates open at 4. We'll go eat and enjoy the game. So that is all I have for you all. I will, like I said, I'll send an email with everything you need. But at this point in time, are there any questions, logistics, planning, or otherwise?
I think I'm good, Jack. Thank you so much for all the work you put into this. This looks great.
Sure. I'm really happy to have everybody on campus. I'm looking forward to next weekend. So excited to see you.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Thanks for all your work.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Jack. Really looking forward to this. It looks great.
Sure.
It'll be my first time at K-State. I'm excited.
Will it really?
Yes.
Oh, well, you're going to love it. It's going to be great. All right, everybody. Have a great day. I'll send this to Alexis and get her caught up, and we shall be good to go.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank
You guys.
you.
Thank you.